In the ancient village of Eldris, where the fog lingered like a wary sentinel, stories of creatures with whispering fangs were shared in hushed tones. These beings were said to emerge under the cover of darkness, when even the moon hid its face in fear. At the heart of Eldris was a crumbling manor, abandoned yet imposing, standing as a testament to its once noble occupants whose absence spoke volumes. Within its shadowy corridors dwelled Lucien, a vampire of old blood, bound to the manor by the curse that plagued his kind. Lucien was not the only one who claimed the manor as his refuge. Morgana, a vampire of enigmatic beauty, moved like a wraith among the chambers, her presence as haunting as the tales told by the villagers. Together, they maintained an uneasy alliance. The vampires respected the age-old boundaries, feeding only from the animals of the foggy woods and occasionally a stray traveler who lost their way under the pall of night. Their feeding rituals were almost a dance, silent and swift, leaving no trace of their grim visitation. Yet, in recent days, whispers of betrayal had sprouted like weeds within the manor's walls. Morgana had grown restless, her hunger refusing to be sated, her eyes drawn to the flickering lights of the village that grew ever nearer to the edge of darkness. Eldris was expanding, a threat that loomed like the very curse that held Lucien and Morgana bound. Unknown to Lucien, Morgana was plotting a rebellion against their pact, driven by a gnawing thirst that demanded more than what solitude could afford. Her whispers promised power and liberation, if only Lucien would join her in forsaking their ancient restraints. A storm brewed over Eldris, the air thick with anticipation. Lucien, sensing the shift in Morgana's demeanor, knew that to remain idle was to invite doom. In his heart, the battle between fear and loyalty raged. On one fateful night, when the fog was at its thickest, Lucien approached Morgana as she stood poised at the edge of the manor's grounds, her eyes reflecting a fire that burned with desperation. "We cannot afford rebellion," Lucien spoke, his voice barely audible over the whispers of the night. "Rebellion is not what we need," Morgana countered, her gaze unwavering. "We need a new beginning, a world where we are no longer just shadows in the night." Lucien considered her words, the weight of centuries pressing upon his decision. Could they truly carve their existence in a world so changed from their own? The choice lay before him, etched plainly on Morgana's face. Lucien felt the whisper of his fangs, a reminder of his own hunger and forgotten dreams. Perhaps a new dawn could rise over Eldris, a dawn where the whispers of vampires would no longer be feared, but understood. As the fog began to disperse, Lucien and Morgana shared a moment of quiet resolve, knowing that the night was theirs to shape. Together, they stepped forward into the darkness, ready to weave their whispered tales anew.